Good evening. It is Wednesday, October the 5th, and I'm ready to call this meeting to order. It is 6:35, and we'll call this meeting to order. Can we have roll call, please?
Don Porter.
Present.
Valerie Ritz.
Present.
Jenna Weltsing.
Present.
Karen McGillivray.
Present.
Ryan Morman.
Present.
Zach Young. Tom Gould is excused. You have a quorum. Thank you.
Thank you. So we'll move on to approvals. We have no action summaries. We do have minutes. I need a motion for the approval of the minutes for August 3rd, 2022. So we have, the motion has been moved and by Valerie Ritz and seconded by Ryan Morman. Do we have to vote? Or if there are any objections? Hearing and seeing none. Any on the line? Then the motion passes. Great, thank you. We will move on to a special order of business. We'll start with disclosures. Is there any disclosures? None on the line? Okay. The next is we have informational items for the abbreviated plat action summaries for 8.1, 8.8, 8.15, 8.22, and 9.6 of 22. Do we need a motion for that? They're just informational items that have been provided to us. Next is the consent agenda, but there is nothing on the consent agenda, nor is there anything on old business. We will move on to item F, new business. At this point, do we need to open the public hearing? Oh.
Hello?
Give us a moment. We're
Karen, is that you?
I'm so sorry, yes, I was disconnected.
That's all right. Thanks.
Back on? Great, thank you. On the public hearing, case S12676, we need a motion to postpone indefinitely, correct? It has been moved by Jana Wilson and seconded by Valerie Ritz. Are there any objections? None on the line? Motion passes. The case S12676, remove plat note 1, has been postponed indefinitely. Moving on to case number S12681. We need to hear. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. So first of all, we have a short board tonight, which means that any one vote would cause the motion to fail. So we're asking the petitioner if they wish to move forward tonight or postpone one time to the next scheduled meeting, right? At no additional cost. Great. They're discussing it. Okay, go ahead and come forward and state your name and let us know that your decision to move forward. Oh, you need to turn on your mic. It'll have a light around the...
It took me a while.
There it is.
It's got this green sticker on it that covers what you're supposed to do. Okay, my name is Courtney Kitchen, and I represent the petitioners, and we will move forward knowing it's a short board tonight.
Great. Could you spell your last name, please?
Kitchen, just like the room, Kitchen.
Thank you so much. Then we will move forward. So therefore, I don't need to read the policy. Oh, okay. So all right, so we will read into the record. The Platting Board meets each month on the first and third Wednesday, except holidays, as a regular meeting. If the Platting Board fails to complete its agenda for the regular meeting, the board carries over to the remainder of the agenda for the following meeting. The procedure by which the public may speak to the Platting Board at its meeting is as follows. After the staff presentation is completed on public hearing items, the chair will ask for public testimony on the issue. Persons who wish to testify will follow the time limits established by the Commission of Rules of Procedure. Petitioners, including all of his or her representatives, will have 10 minutes. Part of this time may be reserved for rebuttal. Representatives of groups, community councils, PTAs, etc., 5 minutes. Individuals, 3 minutes. When your testimony is complete, you may be asked questions by the board. You may only testify once on any issue unless questioned by the board. Any individual may have appeal rights relating to any action the Platting Board takes. Appeal of this decision or any of the conditions is governed by AMCR 21-11-304. The decision of the board at the scheduled public hearing shall become final 7 calendar days after the date of the decision is made on the record, unless a written request is submitted to the Planning Division prior to the expiration of the 7th day to prepare a written decision based upon the record made at the hearing, and the request is accompanied by a written notice of intent to appeal. Adoption of the written decision by the Platting Board becomes the final appealable decision. When 20 days of the final appealable decision, an interested party must file with the municipal clerk either A, a written motion alleging new evidence or changed circumstances per AMCR 21-11-503, or B, an appeal of the board's final appealable decision per AMC 21.03. With that, we will have the staff presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So this is a request in S12681 to vacate a 50-foot creek maintenance easement located on Lot 7, Block 1, that was dedicated when the Prospect Heights subdivision was originally subdivided in 1983 per Plat 83-296. The easement is 50 feet wide and runs northeast to southwest. No municipal reviewing agencies had objections to the proposed vacation. No comments were received from the public, and traffic engineering and private development had no objections to the vacation of the easement. Watershed Management Services supports the request for vacation, as the watercourse in question is mapped by the municipality of Anchorage as an ephemeral channel drainage way, not a stream or creek, and thus is prescribed a 10-foot streamside zone setback per AMC 21-07-020. In staff analysis for the criteria that must be considered in vacation of an easement, staff finds that criteria 1 has been met. While no dedicated right-of-way is involved in this request, the creek setback easement appears to have been determined by historical property information per the original plat. Watershed Management Services confirmed there is no stream present, and any drainage ways have protective measures in the current Anchorage Municipal Code. The applicant states that setbacks are an unnecessary encumbrance affecting the ability to use the property, and Watershed Management is supportive of the easement vacation request. Therefore, the 50-foot creek setback easement to be proposed may be considered surplus. Staff finds criteria 2 has been met. It does not affect any existing or planned right-of-way and is not part of the official streets and highways plan. Staff finds 3 and 4 have been met. Confirmed by agency review, the creek maintenance easement is not intended to accommodate any existing or planned public streets or infrastructures. Staff finds condition 5 has been met. This vacation will not have any impact on traffic circulation. Staff finds condition 6 has been met. This vacation will not result in realignment of any existing right-of-way, does not impact traffic, and agencies have expressed no objection to the request to vacate the creek maintenance easement. As I stated earlier, ephemeral channels are prescribed a 10-foot streamside zone setback per AMC Table 21.07-1, and therefore staff believes that the creek maintenance easement is an excessive municipal need and recommends approval of this vacation subject to conditions A found on page 4 of the staff packet. Thank you.
Thank you very much. At this time, we will take testimony from any interested parties that wish to come forward. Is that true? What do we need to? We need to have the petitioner speak first, sorry.
Good evening, Platting Board, member of the public. My name is Courtney Kitchen, and I represent the petitioners, the current property owners of the lot at issue here tonight. Their request is a straightforward, uncontroversial. The petitioners are asking the Platting Board to subject the petitioner's property to the current municipal code. To do so requires the board to vacate the easement and setback noted on the 1983 subdivision plat. So how did we get here? Well, as the staff report noted, the Prospect Heights subdivision was created in 1983. A plat was recorded in August 1983, and that plat included a 50-foot, quote, creek maintenance easement centered on the creek thread. The easement crosses 4 properties in this subdivision and intersects a small corner of another property in the subdivision. At that time, in 1983, there was a municipal code that required a minimum of 25 feet wide on either side of a stream as a setback. Now, since 1983, 2 municipal actions have brought us to the current situation. One, the municipality of Anchorage has identified the watercourse on the property as an ephemeral channel drainage way, not a stream, as the report notes. And second, the municipality rewrote Title 21 and included setback requirements for ephemeral channels in that rewrite. So really the practice of including stream setbacks or any setbacks on plats has really gone out of favor, because including a setback on a plat is not required to subject the property to current code provisions. And just like this case is a good example of code changes and amendments happen. So such information on a plat is no longer warranted and usually isn't included anymore. When preparing for this hearing, I looked at other subdivisions in the municipality with ephemeral streams located through them, and there are several. For instance, the Lewis and Clark subdivision, which has a plat from 2020, there's an ephemeral stream that runs through the subdivision, but there's no setback requirements laid out in the plat. Instead, there's a plat note that states there are streams and drainage ways that affect this plat, and the associated setbacks are specified in AMC 21.07.020 or as specified in future adopted provisions of AMC 21. Now, as the staff report noted that during municipal agency reviews, no agency opposed this request, and importantly, the Watershed Management Services supported the request for vacation. Now, I also want to point out that during the agency request, and this is in the staff report as well, the Development Services Department on-site water and wastewater program noted that the plat included a 100-foot setback, 100-foot septic setback, and that also does not comply with current code. Septic setbacks, and current code actually doesn't even call them septic setbacks. Current code calls it septic separations. And septic separations are addressed in Anchorage Municipal Code 15.65. And that code separates out conventional wastewater disposal systems and advanced wastewater treatment systems, and there's different septic separations required for each. And so to address this on-site water and wastewater program's recommendation, we also request, along with the easement vacation, that the septic setback be vacated too. Now, I recognize and I know that the septic setback vacation was not part of the original application, but based on the municipality's own agency recommendations, we request a vacation of that setback too. I want to set a caveat, though, that if this additional request in any way translates to not being able to vacate the easement, which was part of our original application, we don't want to pursue it further. But since we're here and there is a significant cost to this application process, we request both that the 100-foot septic setback is vacated along with the 50-foot creek maintenance easement. And I do want to make one more point with regard to both of these easements, that keeping them on the plat or refusing to vacate both the easement and the septic setback really creates a lot of confusion for the municipal agencies enforcing this easement and this septic setback, because there is no definition now in code for a 50-foot, quote, creek maintenance easement for an ephemeral channel. So it would be hard for not only the property owners and the developer, but also the municipality to figure out what sort of prohibitions are in that 50-foot creek easement. Same with the 100-foot septic setback. As I noted earlier, septic setback is not even a term used in code anymore. So at this point, I'd like to reserve my remaining time for rebuttals or questions from the board, if there are any.
Thank you, Ms. Kitchen, for your presentation. I have to say it is somewhat irregular to add on this at such a late time, so we'll have to see how that plays out. Are there any questions for the petitioner? Oh, is there any questions for staff? Wilson.
Go ahead, Ms. Wilson.
Well, I kind of just wanted your take on the additional request.
Yep. Mr. Chair, so you wouldn't be able to add the septic setback as far as a vacation with this hearing, because it wasn't advertised and we didn't have we don't have agency comments, we don't have proper notification. So that would be something separate. But I would advise the applicant to call on-site services and discuss with them, as they do, I think it was mentioned to my knowledge, the grant waivers, and that would be a much less cost, easier process to go through with them. When it comes time to building, you just speak with them about a waiver, and you just kind of outline your justification that you just did.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Any other questions for staff? Okay. So at this point in time, we'll open to the hearing for the public testimony for the vacation of the easement. Is there anyone that would like to step forward and testify? Do we have anybody on the line? Seeing no one wish to testify, the petitioner has 4 minutes and 16 seconds remaining. Do you wish to use the remaining time for any rebuttal?
I'll just make a couple statements, sure.
Thank you.
I appreciate the staff's recommendations about the septic setback, thank you. And so I want to sum up that we will just request then what the original application is just the vacation of the 50-foot creek maintenance easement, and to emphasize that we're not asking for any sort of special treatment, just to be subject to current code. Thank you.
Very well. If no one else ready to speak, then we will close this public hearing and let the matter rest with the board. I would like to request a motion from, for the approval of the setback, of the maintenance easement removal vacation. The motion has been moved by Jana Wilson and seconded by Ryan Morman. Ms. Wilson, would you like to speak to your motion?
Sure. I'll go ahead and move case S12681 to approve the vacation of the 50-foot creek maintenance easement for the Prospect Heights subdivision number 4, block 1, lot 7, dedicated per plat 83-296. I'm going to be a yes vote in favor of this. I do wish there was an easier, more streamlined way for, and I know I say this a lot, for the public to address these types of issues, especially the septic separation issue. I understand the notice that hasn't gone out in the agency review, and I appreciate that there is an alternative way for them to seek that same result, but I do wish that, that these types of code changes that affect plats, that folks didn't have to go through this process. I wish it was done a little bit more administratively, but I will be a yes vote on this. Oh, and I should make some findings. All of the agencies seem to be in support of this request. We had heard no public comment that was against the request. We received no public comment really either for or against the request, and really the only comments came from the agencies, and they were for approving their request.
Thank you, Ms. Wilson. Do we have any other comments from the board? All right, at this point in time, then I will request a vote on the motion on the floor.
Ms. McGillivray?
Aye. Yes.
Thank you.
I'll note that the motion has passed with all 5 on the short board, so congratulations. With that, we have finished our new business, and we will move on to parents' requests. Apparently, we have a request from Connie Yoshimura to speak, so maybe Ms. Yoshimura could come forward.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. My name is Connie Yoshimura, and last June, I won the RFP for the development of Holton Hills subdivision in a joint venture partnership with Heritage Land Bank. It's been a very controversial project so far, with lots of public comment and both pro and con, but mostly coming from concerns from the 2,000 residents that are currently living in Girdwood. It is a very large project. The original RFP was for over 400 acres. You will be hearing next month a preliminary plat for 61 acres that is divided into 3 separate tracts with a phased program for development. This plat, request for a plat, is coming from the Heritage Land Bank because they will retain ownership of the land, even though it will be platted into 3 separate tracts until the Anchorage Assembly approves the land transfer to CY Investments for the beginning phase of development. Due to all the public comments and the numerous meetings that we have had working through this project, I am here to request that you might want to consider a work session prior to the November 3rd meeting so that both Heritage Land Bank staff and myself can attend and give you further information. And so that is my request and comment for my public appearance.
Ms. Yoshimura, thank you so much for appearing before us. We appreciate the advance notice of that coming up. We will certainly defer to the planning department to develop, whether it be a work session or adequately prepare us. They typically do a very, very thorough job of preparing the board for these, and we will take that under advisement.
I would also like to suggest that you should be prepared. I would anticipate that there might be as many as 40 people that will want to make public comments.
Understood. And again, we do appreciate the heads up.
All right, thank you.
I have a question.
Oh,
So
Ms.
you said 61 acres out of the 400, are there going to be more, or did it shrink to just the 61 acres?
It shrank to the 61 acres due to wetlands topography challenges and what we felt was going to be reasonable development over a course of approximately 3 to 5 years.
Okay, and then, I don't know if this is the case, but are there any work sessions that have been done on this that we could access from the Muni's website if for some reason we're not able to have a work session?
Right. There was the Economic Development Committee, and there have been several meetings with the Girdwood Board of Supervisors and which has a subcommittee of a Holton Hills housing group, and I would be happy to provide you access, a way to access all of those meetings.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Any other comments, questions?
do we have any comments from the planning department?
No.
Okay. Again, thank you so much.
All right.
And we will definitely be looking forward to it.
Thank you. Thank you.
We don't have any other items on the new business. Oh. So we don't have any persons to be heard, nor do we have any reports from the chair, secretary, or committee. Are there any board members' comments at this point in time? Anyone on the phone? All right then. At this moment, we will adjourn. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you.